Or for the time being, I think.
Okay.
All the
I
people,
don't want it to be
all
brought
the
up too much
people on
now.
this committee are getting a chance to vote.
Well,
Well, that's what,
it's not even really, I mean,
Is this voting?
it's not even,
It's Matt's call at the end of the day.
it's an executive decision. It's not,
Okay.
then we don't even need a
it's
motion,
not a,
because it's not gonna
right.
change. I've also had neighbors that said they had taken their trash to the station during the open hours and were refused because the call was they couldn't have that much just household garbage. Well, they may be hauled from their house and transferred, but they were sent to the transfer with household garbage and had to pay.
Well,
So who makes the call
That
that
was
this is
my
too many
son,
bags?
my son was one of those. My purpose of making the motion that I did was that if this committee were to vote that we should consider opening it on Sunday, that is, if we don't vote, leave things the way they are, then we can have this discussion. But if the majority of this committee is gonna vote that we should leave things the way they are, there's no point in any further discussion about this.
There's no further point anyways, it's Matt's call. I mean, truthfully, when the rubber meets the road, it's Matt's call. He oversees daily operations. He says to leave it closed on Sunday. It's his call, and he'll take the back flag for it. I mean, you know it too, you understand that.
right,
The problem are right now, we are.
yeah, and so,
Multiple calls.
yes, and I wanted to talk about that, I'm glad you said that. If somebody calls you, you reference to sites being closed on Sundays, whether they're getting turned to the transfer station, whatever that is, you tell them to call me at the mayor's office. 615-597-5175. And I'll talk to them as long as they want to. And about the people going to the transfer station, the reason why some are diverted from a convenience site to a transfer station is because if they have commercial or industry trash, or commercial being like if you were a contractor, you built a new deck or remodeled a house and all the trash from that.
Can I,
That's
can
okay.
I
Just a
address you
second.
on that?
Yes, sir. So, if they take that trash to dispose of it, and they pay to dispose, because it's commercial. And industry is the same way, so if the byproducts from any industry, that has to come, any solid waste, we don't accept anything but that, but that also has to be paid. And also on the residential side, so we're only budgeted that $85,000 a month to dispose of trash. We have an adequate residential trash policy that kind of determines what is an adequate amount of trash for a resident to dispose of at one time. So, and the reason why we have to do this, I know that it sounds silly. I see some shaking of heads going on, but the reason why that got implemented is because people would go clean out an entire barn or a whole workshop and fill the dumpster completely full. One trip, and it would fill the dumpster up where nobody,
They still do that sometimes.
they're not supposed to, but
Won't happen on my side.
the reason why we had to get away from that is because all the other citizens don't have the opportunity to dump their trash. And I'll get to you just a minute, I promise. I will not forget you. Got me off on point there. Trying to get back to it. So if they fill it up to where nobody else can dispose of their trash, that hurts the rest of the community. You know, if somebody cleans out their barn and belt and fills all the dumpsters up, then nobody else in Belt can dump. They have to wait till the next day when the dumpsters are taken off in the morning. And that's one reason we like to keep them sites closed in the morning, so they can go ahead and come in and come out without any traffic being in there. They can get the dumpsters, dispose of the waste, and get it back ready at 9 a.m. for whoever gets there. They can start dumping. So that's the reason we got the operation in the line that we do have it, because it moves smooth. And so far, other than it being closed on Sundays, everybody really likes it. They're not getting turned away because of the trash being too full. We try to take our dumpsters off every single day. We try to make it as convenient as possible. We're open 6 days a week, and we're asking for the one day to be off on Sunday. Now, coming back to you, your son got turned away and had to go to,
Well, one of the things you're leaving out is that when they go to the transfer station, they have to pay to dump their garbage. And that's a tax. Any way you want to look at it, if I've been getting this service for years, and now I have to start paying to use it, that's a tax.
so the only reason you should be getting turned away is if you have large furniture. We have furniture cans and stuff like that.
He did spring cleaning in his yard, but then you also just said if you determine that they have too much household garbage. I used to wait till my truck was filled up, maybe a month, and I'd take it up there. Okay, so what, do you have guidelines of what's a manageable amount of trash?
Yes, we do. We have a policy just for that.
Where is
So,
it? We're gonna guess when we show
I
up?
mean, it is with us, so, I mean,
Well, but we're the
that's
ones that
what-
are
it's open to
impacted.
the public though, yeah.
Is it on the
And I-
website?
But
Give me a
I mean,
minute to explain it and you'll understand. So,
Is it on your web, is it on the county website?
we can put it on there if you want.
But it's not right now.
We can, not right now, but we can do it.
But do people realize that they're gonna have to pay when they go to the transfer station? I mean, this is a service we've had since I've lived here, that's part of what we pay taxes for.
Absolutely.
But we're now gonna have to pay to dump our garbage, is what you're saying. Who gets the money and where does it go?
You're overlooking what I'm saying. So,
He had to
the
pay.
only reason you would have to go, if they said you have too much trash, like if you come in with a 16-foot trailer full of trash to the top,
He had to pick up.
that's not gonna,
He was in a pickup truck and he had cleaned around his yard. He had to pay $13. It's not a lot of money, but it's the principle. We shouldn't have to start paying to dump our trash.
so if it's more than what the average household would accumulate in 1 week,
Okay, what's an average household?
an average household is 3 to 5 people in a house.
Okay, and how much garbage do they produce?
That's approximately 12 bags of trash
12
at
bags of
once.
trash.
12 to 15. I mean, there's no real solid number.
So we're gonna
12
have
to
to check
15
in and
numbers.
say I
It
was
depends on the
here.
bags. You could come with, you know, you could come with 50 little small Walmart grocery bags, and that doesn't, you know, accumulate as much trash as a 30 or 40 gallon trash
But,
bag.
you know, a minute ago, you were
So-
saying that these guys are overburdened with having to check people with license plates from other counties. What are they gonna do about the garbage?
They do the best job they can with the
But
resources.
you just said
have.
they were overworked, but now you're telling them they're gonna have to make sure, well, you're bringing 11 bags and you're bringing 6 bags.
Exactly. That's what I'm
So
saying.
which
They're
is-
already busy enough as it is. Why do we gotta give more?
Well, you just said they do, because you're gonna go by what's a normal amount of garbage, and then
Yeah.
otherwise you're gonna be sent to the transfer
Now,
station.
imagine if they had to check your water bills and stuff while they were doing that too.
You're not addressing what I'm saying to you. You're saying they're too busy to do this, but yet they're gonna tell you, you have too much garbage, go to the transfer station.
Yes,
Right?
that's their job.
Okay, well, isn't their job to say, hey, that's an out-of-county plate, get out of here?
Well, what if they have property here?
Then show
What if
your,
they live in another
show
county,
your license.
own
I mean,
property?
it works on one hand but not the other, right?
Either way, the answer to your question is, if you have too much trash,
Okay.
which is what a normal average household would accumulate in 1 week, then we do ask you to go to the transfer station. So my suggestion to you would be take it off weekly instead
Have
of
all these
monthly.
guys got those guidelines on how much garbage families allowed?
Do what?
Have they all got the guidelines on how much garbage families allowed?
Do they have
to
that
bring?
guideline?
And where does the money go that my son had to pay? It was only $13, but it's the principal. Where does that money go?
Goes into the county budget.
I believe I know the instance you're speaking of.
Yeah,
Because
my
he-
son talked to you.
He did. The reason he was turned away from that area was because of the material that he had. He had wood and shingles. So the determination was made on the site that it was more than just residential. And I had a good conversation with him. You had negated what was in the vehicle, and I just wanted to clear that up. He had those type of materials.
But it was, you know, he was spring cleaning around his yard.
I understand. I just wanted to clear that up. That was why the determination was made, was because it was more than just a couple of bags of household trash. It was shingles, it
But
was
these are
wood, it was
things-
other
These
things.
are things we've always done, and now we're gonna have to pay to do it?
That's a good point. The way we've always done it.
Well,
I keep
this is
hearing
a
that all the
service
time.
That's provided to
We're gonna do
taxpayers.
this because this is the way we've always
No,
done it.
no,
Instead of
wait,
doing the right
wait.
thing,
This is,
we're gonna do the way,
we pay taxes for these services.
yeah.
That's my point. And when you start charging to do this, you've got another layer of taxation. Any way you want to look at it. A
Well, we're gonna have
government
to-
provided
Sir,
service.
we gotta
I
raise
stayed in business for
raise
over
taxes.
30 years, and you know what? I never asked not one dump site, since we've had a dumpster, to ever put anything in it. You know what? I used to take mine, weigh it in, and whatever they charged, I paid it and thanked them and went on.
That's you. I just feel that's another form.
I was born and raised here,
Well,
but I didn't fuss about it.
well,
I just paid it.
well, I'll fuss about
If
it,
you,
okay?
if you dump more than what we've budgeted for, you have to pick up that expense. That's
Well,
what
then
it
maybe
boils
you should raise taxes if that's the.
We are raising it. Well, our budget committee has talked about raising our other contracted services that we have to be able to, and to be honest, it's, we might oversee.
What do you-
it. We won't
what do you-
go over that.
How much of the property tax goes towards solid waste?
None.
Okay, and what's raising the property tax going to do to help defer this cost that we're in on? Because sales tax is what, is it not, is it sales tax what?
Sales
generates
tax,
that?
hotel, motel tax is
Right.
going toward it, and, which is
So
now
those
going
are
into
the
our
taxes
general
we
fund
have
instead
raised
now.
to counter the differential amount, not the property tax.
The discussion we just had,
I was talking about allocating more
repeatedly
money toward
the
it. but-
term household
Right.
garbage was referred to. And if what was in the truck was wood and shingles, I don't think we would describe that as household
That's
garbage.
correct.
Was it 3 shingles that blowed off his roof in a storm, and, you know, what? Or
We
did you
had a
have
whole-
bundle of shingles? or
We
you
had
have- you know,
more
I
than
don't
just
know.
shingles.
I don't know how much, you know what I'm
These-
saying?
These people can't just take everybody's word for everything. They do,
Right.
like I said, they do the best they can with
Oh,
what
I
they got.
understand that, but I didn't.
You know, you
what
can't
this
trust
is like.
everybody, you know. You could have a contractor come and say, well, this comes from my house. Well,
Right.
how do you know? If you believe he's a contractor, if you believe that it really comes from his house. You don't know. All you know is these are the materials he's presented you with, so you have to make a
Right.
decision based on those materials.
I understand that, but was it a truckload of shingles, or was it a handful that you picked up in the
Well, I'm
truck?
not there, Todd.
So that's what.
That's what these guys are here for. That's their job to make that
And
determination.
I have no problem with them taking a trailer load, running across the scale because they proved somewhere.
They have to make that determination.
I understand that.
And I'm gonna stand behind their determination on whatever they, if they said that some guy showed up with a trailer full of construction-looking material and they made the decision
I have no problem with that.
to tell them to go to the transfer station because it looked like it needed to,
Right.
then I'm gonna stand
I
behind
have no
what they
problem
told
with
me.
that at all. You know, because we don't know if it's been generated on a job or it's a house. I understand.
Right, yeah.
But either way, it's still construction, for any that don't need one can.
That's correct,
I don't have any problem with that.
correct. Yes.
You know, and I don't have any problem with what he was asking, and saying about a contractor that's getting paid to haul off these garbage, that's doing a route or going down to the lakes. They're getting a fee, so yeah, they want to go pay too, because they're getting paid.
I'm gonna answer one more question over here. I see somebody, but again, like Tom said, we're kinda getting away from the reason we met here tonight. We're here to talk about Sundays, but I will be gracious enough to try to answer a question.
Well, the question or comment is, you could use the website for communication on this matter.
Yes, sir.
Would be my suggestion, because when the hours changed, you just showed up and the hours were changed. There was really no communication out that I saw, out to the public, that these decisions have been made. You know, put this on the website, I mean, and then your household garbage
Look at
would.
newspaper, wouldn't it?
It was in the newspaper and it was on the radio, and then we tried to get the signs made as fast as possible, but.
But most people, a lot of younger people especially, they look at the website, and that's where they're looking for information.
It was there.
Update your website.
It was there. It wasn't on the county's website, but it was on WJLE's website.
Well, first place people are gonna go is the county website. I went to the county website, to look like, what happened? There's no information. So I'm just saying, use your website for effective communication.
Hey, is that updated on our website? Hours of operation? So on our
Now.
website, right now, the hours of operation has been updated.
It wasn't when it changed, I
Yeah.
don't think.
I'm not
saying be efficient, use your website for this communication stuff. You know, how much household garbage can you, if you want to get the information out, that's an effective way to
have.
communicate.
And this is a hard discussion because people keep saying stuff like that to me. Why didn't you tell us about this? Why didn't you? We've done so many WJLE stories on trash. Dwayne's probably tired of hearing about trash, but we've tried, radio and newspaper is what, I mean, that's your media sources. right?
No, not for most, a lot of people.
What's your media? What media?
You go on the website, that's what most people do, look for information nowadays. Go
Well,
on.
I'm sorry that didn't get changed.
I'm just saying, use it
Fast enough,
effectively, like a lot of questions that have come here tonight, you
Yeah.
could put that information out there on your website,
We intend to do that. Thank you for
and then,
letting us, for providing that.
That's an excellent idea, because from where I came from,
Mm-hmm.
it was a small village. They had a website and they had all of that
Right.
listed, and when I came here, my husband was having to use needles that I had to dispose of.
Right.
And they told me I couldn't take him to the garbage. And they said I had to take him to the transfer station. I tried to look on the website, there was nothing there. So then I called the transfer station, and they said I couldn't dump it there. So I'm sitting here with the clumps of like needles and not knowing how to dispose of them.
Well, I tell you what, I think we got it pretty good in DeKalb County, because I got some neighbors that lives over there that's come here from Arizona, and the guy was telling me, he said, man, you get what you guys has got it made here. He said, we have to, me and my neighbor went together and got us a big trailer, and said, we haul it once a month. He said, we have to truck it 40-something miles to get it there, and then we have to pay $20 a ton to unload it. And he said, we got it made here. We have got it made here, and everybody wants to fuss about it. I mean, we have, we got it made. We need to talk to some of these people that comes from these other states here. I mean, they say, man, we can't understand why you put the bottles, paper, and all that in the dumpsters. Says, where we're from, they got armed guards on their dump sites. And you put everything to where they tell you to, and if you don't, they will escort you out and you won't come back. So, man, we have got it made here.
Don't blame them for moving.
Well, they moved here.
Don't blame them for moving.
It's, but it's gonna get the same
But
way
you're also
here.
talking about states that have great recycle programs that we don't have.
That's right.
So,
We've talked about recycling.
Yeah.
And,
and that states that's got great recycling program, I applaud them for that.
And
We
they
just
do
don't
here.
have it here.
You stand behind your decision, right?
yeah,
You have no intentions to changing this program, right?
absolutely. not.
You're the executive, you oversee it.
Then I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Very tough.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't
Hold on,
change.
hold on now, hold on. I mean, we gotta find something right here. We gotta take notes as we go. We can't just- All right. Is that what y'all wanna do?
Well, I mean, you've done said it, you're not gonna change.
You're not gonna change it.
People has voiced their opinions. I guess, does anybody else have an opinion, their voice? I mean, let's let everybody talk that wants to while we're here.
Hey, Myron,
Sir,
how about if we compromise it? How about if we open dumpsters Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 8 to 5, close them on Friday, all, empty out the dumpsters on Friday, open 1 to 5 on Sunday, and 1 to 5 on Monday.
Yeah, but on Sundays, I like to watch my football games and stuff like that, and everybody else does too. And I
Okay,
can go to
hold
church.
on. We're still missing the point of, there's nobody at the transfer station on Saturdays and Sundays.
That's right.
but
There's no staff
But you
there.
don't need them on Saturday and Sunday for that.
if your cans are
Because you're
empty,
emptying your cans on Friday.
But if you're operating on Saturday and Sunday, you're gonna accumulate trash with 2 days with the transfer station not operating. So you're gonna have this influx of trash being kept and not going anywhere. That's still another problem to keeping it open on. That's what I'm saying, even on a Saturday it's hard, because he's trying to catch up on Monday. Yeah, and, I mean, our truck drivers don't,
well, I have a
I like it,
legal
just
motion
like
on
it.
the floor to adjourn, and I've got a second, so let's vote on that. Because that is a motion that we need to have.
that's it.
I vote with your,
Motion by Myron to adjourn. And who seconded it?
Tim.
You seconded it? All right, Tony Colwell seconded the motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Jack
All
had
opposed?
Jack had his hand up before we made the motion.
So it's up to you, you're the chairman. You can wait for discussion and take his question, or you can take a,
Mr. Burton?
I was just gonna ask the question, I pretty much, I guess, I was a commissioner for about almost 12 years, and have lived here since the prior schedule, I guess, before Mayor Adcock had come in, went into place, approximately 25 years. But my question was I guess before you took office, so there was no exchanging of cans on the weekends, because I believe that used to be done. And I know had been done since the transfer station came about. So you're saying that had been illegal all that time? Because my concern is even though I probably agree with Mr. Green about some sort of compromise schedule, ultimately it's your decision or the commission's decision. But I worry about going there at like a 10:30 or 11 to Snows Hill on Saturday and all the cans are full. I actually got off early. I get off before in Cookville, so I could never go to the transfer station. But I came by at 3:20, I guess, at 56. Every can was full. So I worry about the concept of if you do retain the Sundays closed, how do you combat the cans being full? Because there's a difference between people being asked to be turned away and then just the cans being full and you can't dump your trash. So my question is were there transfers of cans being done on the weekends before you came into office, or was that happening?
from my knowledge, from what I was told by employees that work there, and some of them employees are not with us anymore, but what they have told me was that the trash sat there and waited until Monday. So it sat in the parking lot at the transfer station, and most of them were still in the convenience sites that had not been picked up. So they said, and that's the reason they were filling up, because right now we're
I mean, you've been against the state law.
so we found out later that it was a discrepancy that we could have been fined for. I don't think we've ever been fined, thankfully, but it's a possibility that it could have happened.
So that was the first part of my question.
We did get wrote up on some things.
But to answer the very first part of your question, prior to the convenience center, or the dump site, yes, we did haul trash off on Sundays when we had the landfill.
Yes.
And they went to the landfill, and they were covered.
We had the transfer site quite a while. I mean, I know the period of time in which we closed the landfill, and I feel like we were exchanging cans out on the weekends, but even after the landfill closed. Because I don't want to go, if the schedule's closed on Sunday, it's closed on Sunday, but I want to be able to go on Saturday or Monday and be able to dump the trash. But
And it not be full around the
right. And the second part of my question is just, again, because I was on the commission, many things like our waste oil collection and whatnot were done through state grants. That chipper shredder was done through a state grant.
Right.
I think it's being eliminated, so
It's being moved to the transfer station to a more centralized
okay.
location.
I want to make sure it's still in use, because it's a state grant, and I don't think you can just eliminate it, but the equipment was purchased
Right.
through the grant.
And James can talk about that a little bit more in detail.
But that's,
So I'm assuming there's an ongoing assessment of whether or not and when we might need additional dumpsters, and that would all come into play as we assess that needs to be done, the dumpsters will flood the sites and all that. And none of that's got anything to do with whether or not we sites road on Sunday.
That's correct. So far, we have got some more dumpsters ordered, and we do plan in the future to be adding more dumpsters per site. That way we don't have that filling up at the end of that day problem. Right now, we're dumping, should be dumping every dumpster pretty much every single day. Every site gets attention. That's different than what we had done in the past. And then the chipper, you probably need to explain that a little bit better, because explain the hours of operation we've had with the chipper and the salary that we were paying somebody to operate it, and why we moved where we are, where we have more hands at the transfer station to operate it.
In 4 years, we operated the chipper right at 312 hours.
We had someone 9 hours a day for 3 days designated just for that. Once we kind of broke the math down on it, it was about 30 minutes a day, spanned out for the entire year. At that time, the reason they went forward with the grant for that was because the contract for Southern Central did not allow any kind of brush or debris to be thrown in because they didn't have the ability to process that. Capital Waste owning their own landfills, they can take class 1, 2, and 3. They have no problem with it. So it is a savings as far as fuel, payroll, maintenance, because we can just bring that in. We've got a courtesy can if they choose to just throw that into the courtesy can and not wait in line. Or if they have an entire trailer full and they don't mind waiting a few moments, they can throw it right there on the floor and the loader can just kind of get away with it. And that was going to be the company change that done that.
Will they be charged?
No, that's free of charge. So.
Anyone else before we leave? I want everybody to get an opportunity. Everybody want to adjourn? Say aye. Aye. Everybody opposed? Okay. Motion passed. Yeah.